structure called a small particle is now moving, which was actually in the form of energy, particle appeared. And this is called a radical. Oxygen, if it is lodged upon, it becomes oxygen radical. If it is on sulfur, sulfur radical. If it is on nitrogen. So based on the electronegativity of the receiving atom, you create these radicals. Once a radical is formed in an organ or organelle in your body, it starts doing its clever job of poking here, there, here, there. So every day, every cell to live is producing carbon dioxide and this EMF, and that is the origin of disease. Your organelle starts becoming dysfunctional, one cell at a time, one cell at a time. Now there has to be a mechanism where we can mop up this EMF so that radicals do not form, so that our organelles are intact. That means, can we reduce this oxidative stress that we are creating due to burning of glucose? Carbon dioxide is a material, toxic morbid waste that is produced in our living cell. That God has made some mechanism to take and release through lungs. That is Uchwasa Nishwasa. Now, if I stop it, I will die in 3 minutes. So what it means, for you to continue to live, this toxic morbid waste, which is very poisonous, has to be eliminated each and every second. But the toxic EMF need not be eliminated because it is in very small amount, and when it accumulates, it becomes radical and it starts doing its damage. While doing that damage, it does produce metabolites that are slowly toxic and accumulative. So it can be 1 year, it can be 2 years, it can be 3 years to produce a dysfunctional organelle and organ, and then show you as a disease. So that means the damage is non-stop. Every second is going on. So what is the arrangement that God has made for us to remove these toxic morbid waste on a daily basis? So the simple yogic practice of taking deep breaths and releasing carbon dioxide, even if you do 10 to 20 minutes, in fact, removes most of this EMF. Most, I mean by 15 to 20%. But then no one does this yogic deep breaths. That is why if you slow down your breathing, you live longer. That's the basic thing that we are all taught in yogic dimensions. But it still is not complete. You still have the negative toxic morbid waste produced. So there has to be something, and that is what our great ancestors divided, rather distinguished the food into 3 groups called Akulu Alamulu, greens and vegetables, Kandamulalu, that is roots, Kanda Mulalu, roots and tubers, Davasa Dhanyalu, grains and dicots. You understand now? These 3 Vargikarana, this is called dividing anything, like Mendeleev classified the elements into 120 or 108, whatever. You understand? The same way our ancestors, the Sadhu Santa, the visionaries, basically it is Charaka who did this. That means greens and vegetables, roots and tubers, Davasa Dhanyalu, grains and Davasa Dhanyalu, that is dicots and monocots. So what is that wonderful thing they have done? greens and vegetables have fiber. Roots and tubers have little more matured fiber. Then the grains and this have wonderful fibers, matured fiber. So greens and vegetables and fruits, when you eat, you get something called antioxidants, phytochemicals that are falling into the classification of antioxidants. So what is their job? That means when I now have kothambari, that is cilantro, green leaf decoction, I am providing an antioxidant to the system of kidney, nephrons, where this EMF is tapped, mopped, taken away. So there is no toxic negative energy that can spin the electron and make the energy transmuted into a material electronic radical. You understand? This is what happens. So when I now have decoction of coriander leaves, I am protecting the area of kidneys. Now if I have ficus, that is people leaf, it protects our genital organs. So this is to some extent, not completely, because the maturedness of the fiber makes the qualitative and quantitative cleaning possible. So now the next matured thing is coming from roots and tubers. That is your RB or Chamagade, Suvarnagade, that is tubers. Tubers, elephant yam, sweet potato, all these tumor and roots, carrots, beetroot, radish, turnip, like this, the diversified food systems of different parts of geographical continents and countries have produced different diversified antioxidants called tuberous fibers. And here also it is carbohydrate that has formed into various kinds of structures of fiber. So this is also immature fiber. So our ancestors ate ఆకులు అలములు, కందమూలాలు, దవస ధాన్యాలు. But the matured fiber in the grains, for it you need to have a stable organizations or communities where they can sow the seeds, harvest, collect. So an agricultural activity, a unified group activities, and an individual also in its form. So all these things happen. So now you see where I am coming from. The division, the classification of foods have been done so scientifically, because the food is the thing that has to correct or manipulate or regulate the toxic morbid waste removal from your body on a daily basis. According to me, not daily basis, minute by minute, second by second. That's when you can maintain your balance. The oxidative stress being removed, your mitochondria staying, not being burnt, being young all the time. So it actually translates into some parameters like mitochondrial proteins, the inflammation, all this. Now recently we started measuring this fat parameter. So now if I have in my food the greens and vegetables, roots and tubers, and then the matured fiber. What is this matured fiber? In the grains that is available in the minor millets is our lignons, the aromatic pool of electrons running around the carbon units that are arranged in 6 hexagons and conjugated and with little handle of aliphatic. So now the energy that is released, EMF, the matching PMF is wide range in our lignons. That means even if there is lot of energy being wasted, EMF is produced, it is mopped up even before it becomes an electron transmuted into manifested into a material called electron. Material and non-material. EMF is non-material. So you need to match, nullify, whatever words you want to use, remove. That is possible if you have a material which is actually the transition between energy and material. And that is what is aromatic lignons, matured fibers available in the top layers of our minor millets only. And that is the beauty. So now when you eat millets, even if in the earlier days when there were no chemicals, no contamination, still people used to get disease because this process of matching the EMF on a regular basis, if it is not achieved, the left out EMF transmutates to radicals, and then the organelles get deceased. This is the way disease is produced in a living cell. Am I making sense? So now you have on a daily basis in your food the matured fiber in the grains. So greens and leaves to certain extent will keep you healthy. Roots and tubers will keep you little more healthy. Then when you have the right grains, you are completely healthy. So now added to this, you have cancerous chemicals, this chemicals, that chemicals. So who does manage to remove these effects also is again our matured fiber lignons. So that means if your food contains lignons, the wonderful materials that are available in millets, especially minor millets, where the ratio of carbohydrate to fiber comes to single digit, your energy level mopping up, EMF to PMF range, the broad range of lignons, you are through in cleaning up the disease even before it is originating. Am I making sense? This is how our millets work to keep you healthy. And all the names of the diseases, diabetes, this and that, manifested electronic motive force, which is not cleaned up by a right PMF, is what is your diseases depending upon the lungs, pancreas, liver, and you keep naming the names of the diseases. It's a liver cirrhosis, pancreatitis, sinusitis, all this modern day. But everything is basically the origin of the disease causing reason is not cleaned up. So if your food is right, you have no reason to worry. Am I making sense? So this is how millets clean up the negative energy into the dimension of energy. And it is the same. If you have regulation, you have wonderful life on this planet. So all the living things have this capacity, and this is the Atma. Then evolved rather to Sukshma Sharira, the micro body. Then the Sthula Kaya, the manifestation of physical embodiment of your body. And so this is the energy playing around. And what is making diversified? It is the information. It is the complicated, complex biochemical processes in which these balances are set up. And all these balances are in the macro world called elements, all the materials. Then you say hormonal balance, microbial balance, glucose balance, all these things come up, and these are variations, and then we understand. So according to me, there is nothing seriously wrong with anyone who is sick other than not able to remove the toxic morbid waste. So while you keep eating, utilizing the grains and the roots and tubers and the greens and vegetables, your body is now entitled or capable of cleaning up of the toxic morbid waste slowly and steadily. That's how you are assured of being healthy. Even if people who are sick slowly become healthy because of this fundamental mechanism of reversing the diseases. I don't know what is called reversing. It's because you are cleaning up your system. So, and the regenerating, replenishing capacity of the right materials makes your body look younger, because there is no accumulation of glucose under your skin. You look younger. There is no accumulation of glucose on your blood. Your diabetes disappears. The coagulated, your blood vessels get up completely cleaned up. You have no BP. See, this is how the system works, and the fundamental understanding of disease, the root cause of disease, and the cleaning up of the system is wonderfully laid out by our ancestors. Akulu alamulu, kandamulalu, dawasa dhanyalu. What a wonderful classification of food. Thank you for today.
Hi, sir.
Did you record this?
Yes, we did.
Great.
Yeah. If you have some time, there's a few questions from the
Yeah,
audience.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So someone asks, please tell how to control heavy bleeding and irregular periods. What precautions should we take during
basically
pre-menopause?
Basically, you are looking at the genital organs of a lady which are gone out of whack. That is hormonal imbalance. So we have identified the EMF matching in some of the green leaves that we have identified. And I, in particular, have devised this simple decoction method wherein you provide the right antioxidants to your diseased organ. So we have a protocol by name hormonal imbalance in our PDF that is supplied to you all. I hope you all have got this PDF and read it carefully and follow the hormonal imbalance protocol. You would be happy in a matter of 2 to 3 months, though you have accumulated the toxic morbid waste and created hormonal imbalance, thus creating various diseased conditions. And in this hormonal imbalance, it touches salt balance, and many times it translates into your moods being swinging, being happy, being unhappy, being sad, being angry. All these variations happen, and it also engulfs calcium metabolism because you are losing a lot of salts while your hemorrhage is a lot of bleeding. So all these things are considered, and our great little millet, Sama, is having the lignans that slowly and steadily correct and get you back into healthy condition. So please follow that hormonal imbalance protocol for menopausal disturbances, as well as the beginners, that is the girls maturing earlier than the scheduled natural time, that is 15, 16. Whoever, I personally believe now the whole human women kingdom is sick because no one is actually matured at the right age. They're all maturing at early age because of our so-called dairy industry, milk, milk, milk. So if you stop taking milk tomorrow onwards, next 1 year, if human race does that, half the hospitals will close down. That is guaranteed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do you have time for more questions?
Maybe one more. And how much? What is the time now?
It's India time. I think it's 7:35. Sorry, 8:30.
Yeah, so another 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So one question is, how do we treat fatty liver? Is it associated with obesity, and how can we treat it?
Oh no, fatty liver is not necessarily associated with obesity. Fatty liver could be found even in a very so-called fit persons who is going to gym, and so it's something to do with the oils that we are consuming right now. Major reason is oil and alcohol, and of course dirty chemicals that we are all consuming. So you have mechanism or protocol, liver cleaning protocol, and if the disease is progressed quite a bit, you better off with the liver cancer protocol itself. So look for the two protocols, liver cleaning protocol or liver cancer protocol. Don't worry whether fatty liver is cancerous. It will become cancerous if you allow it to progress. So you can use liver cancer protocol or a liver cleaning protocol, depending upon which stage you are. In fact, a fatty liver is the beginning of your liver cirrhosis. Then cancerous conditions do appear at a little later stage. And it can happen in a matter of 2 to 3 months. For some people, it can happen. It may take 2 to 3 years also. So just fatty liver doesn't mean you are in real danger. It's signaling you that your liver is under stress. So better take care of. So you change your food, change your habits, get up in the morning, go to sun radiations, which have a lot of effect in liver metabolism. So that's why when your liver goes, your jaundice comes, you are better off going under the sun, into the sun rather than going into the hospital. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Just one last question.
Yeah.
Several pediatricians, they prescribe vitamin D for babies because they say babies are vitamin D insufficient and breast milk is insufficient in
No,
vitamin D.
I'm not
Is
hearing you
that true?
properly. You're breaking off.
Oh. How is my
Can you
voice now?
repeat? Now I'm okay hearing you.
Okay. The question was several pediatricians, they prescribe vitamin D for babies because they say babies are vitamin D insufficient. And they say breast milk does not have enough vitamin D or iron. Can you speak on that?
Yeah. See, vitamin D and iron are not parallel. They're basically needed for your hemoglobin production. Iron and vitamin D are two different things. Iron is a cation, if Fe 2 plus. Okay, that's what is important. And vitamin D metabolism engulfs lot of biochemical processes. One of them is your bone marrow producing blood components. So, and then calcium metabolism, your bone processes. So, a lot of basic metabolic activities, building up activities require vitamin D, and vitamin D is actually produced under your skin. When it is exposed, the cholesterol becomes vitamin D. With little variations, you have D3, D2, all that. But essentially, it's a complex molecule which has wonderful PMF, cleaning up and associating and assisting the building up of the system, because blood keeps to be regenerated every 3 months. That means all the red blood cells, hemoglobin, white blood cells, platelets, plasma, all these components have to be generated on a regular basis. So vitamin D is a kind of supervisor and assists all these processes. So you get vitamin D has to be synthesized within you, under your skin. Not only you, any living animal. In fact, you see cats, dogs, elephants, everyone basking themselves on the beautiful sun. And unluckily, you fellows in northern hemisphere have very less sun exposure. And so apparently everyone is, vitamin D insufficiency is there. It is not a problem if, even if you are in India, if you do not expose to sun, you are always now within the bodies, the space, you are not going out, you are contained in your houses, AC rooms, AC cars, and all this nonsense we are doing. We that's why in our Siri Jivana, the early morning sun in India is very important. And of course, experiments were done in the northern hemisphere. They came up with saying that from 11 to 2 or 11 to 3 you have the mechanism to make vitamin D, but that doesn't hold good to the equatorial countries. If you go in between 11 and 2 in Africa or in Vijayawada, you will go directly up, take ticket and die. Sunstroke will happen. So we have to do experiments in our own country, and we have done that. Thousands of people, we have seen vitamin D deficiency is eliminated in a matter of 3 to 4 months if you regularly see the rising sun and take a walk 1 hour or so after the sun rises, or while doing sunset also. This can happen between 4:35 when the sun is going down. But the best time for Indian continent is morning sunrise time. So before sunrise, you get up, go out and take a walk for 1 hour after the sunrise also. Within 2 to 3 months, your vitamin D insufficiency will disappear. And it's true, even if a small baby, expose him to the sunlight, he will start building up his vitamin D beautifully in his body. Okay? Have I answered your question?
Yeah. And no,
Hello?
the part of other question is that is mom's milk, do they have the vitamin D and iron? That is what our question too. So the mom's milk.
Iron is there. Iron is there. You can fill in vitamin D. If the mother is exposed to the sunlight, certainly mother's milk has vitamin D. But as the baby goes along, baby has to make his or her own vitamin D. No two things about that. That's why our ancient Indian practices is apply till oil luxuriously to the baby and then put him in the sun. Even when the baby is 1 week, 2 weeks old, you have this practice, and that is the reason why you do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is out of the window of late, even in India. No one does this. Sadly.
Sir, last question, sir. So one of the followers' moms has a creatine level 2.2. Is it what is a dangerous thing, or what should follow?
Yeah, immediately follow the protocol, dialysis protocol. The immediate requirement is she has to take Ambali 3 times. First, drink the Ambali. After 5 minutes, let her eat. Ambali is very important for next 3 to 4 months. If she takes Ambali, her creatinine levels will reverse. Otherwise, slowly and steadily they will rise, and then you are making a dialysis patient.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Follow the dialysis protocol strictly, and Ambali, thin fermented porridge.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, sir.
Good. For you, it's good. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir. Good.